Hey, this is Drew Page. Welcome to the Drew Page channel. In this video, we're going to talk about Sam Bankman-Fried getting a $250 million bond pending his hearing and his extradition back to the United States from the Bahamas. If you find this video helpful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all of you who've subscribed so far this year. Still a little short of my goal of getting to 10,000 subscribers, but I'm super thankful for the over 8,000 subscribers that I have and that you guys have stuck with me so long since that Will Smith video. I'm sorry that I haven't done a lot of videos recently. I've been working on some of my PhD requirements and I'm trying to wrap that up. My PhD seminars are the first week of the new year. So once I get past that, things will hopefully slow down and I'll be able to do more consistent videos. I'm also going to be doing a separate channel on my PhD activities. So that is going to be Path to Preaching PhD channel. And then I also have a karate vlog channel. It's the Page Karate Vlog, where my family and I are taking karate and we're doing our journey from start to finish. So if you're interested in that, that's a separate channel as well. I didn't want to take my legal channel and add those other things. It seemed to throw some stuff off, so I've divided it over 3 channels. So feel free to subscribe to those as well. Anyway, so I want to talk about Sam Bankman-Fried. Now, as you know, he has been charged with multiple counts of conspiracy and fraud and securities violations. He's been sued by the SEC, and he has been arrested in the Bahamas. He initially requested a bond, and that bond was denied. But since then, he has been granted a $250 million bond. Now, that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. And of course, he's posting it. He's got an ankle monitor. He's got to reside at the residence of his parents. But there's a problem, and this is what I want to walk through here, because this is frankly one of those areas that really aggravates me, having represented countless criminal defendants throughout my 12 years of legal practice so far. One of the things that irks me the most is when I do a bond hearing and the judges say there's no amount of bond that will secure the concern of the court that the defendant will either appear or not be a danger to himself or to the community. And that's basically the requirements in just about every state. I know in my state of Virginia, in order for a person to not get bond, and that means that in almost every circumstance, bond is presumed for a defendant unless there is probable cause that 2 things are true. 1, that he is a flight risk, or 2, that she is a risk of danger to either herself or to the community. And if either of those prongs are shown by probable cause, then the court should not grant bail. And of course, the court can also place whatever conditions that would require the securance of the appearance of the defendant. So not only is there these possibilities of different types of cash bond, but there's also this opportunity for conditions that the court can place. So there are unsecured bonds, which are basically like PR, personal recognizance bonds, where a person just signs promising that they're going to appear. And then there are secured bonds, where you either have to post some sort of collateral or you have to get a bondsman to do it for you. And generally they do that if you pay them 10% of what the bond's value would be. So thinking about my previous cases in light of this Sam Bankman-Fried case, I think of so many cases like involving, possession of drugs, grand larceny cases, burglary cases, cases where the people have lived in the community so long, but because of whatever reasons, let's think of like things that involve flight risk as well. Let's say eluding, driving super fast on the road trying to evade cops, and then they end up getting pulled. Obstruction of justice cases, things like that. And you present those to the court, and the court says, well, unfortunately, even though they're only looking at 4 to 5 years in prison, even if they got the maximum with guidelines of like 2 to 3 years, there's just no sufficient amount of bond that will satisfy me that he will not be a danger to himself and the community or a flight risk. And then I think of this case, Sam Bankman-Fried, who's defrauded billions of dollars, according to prosecutors, who is currently in the Bahamas, or was currently in the Bahamas, and now has waived extradition in exchange for this $250 million bail. And he was arrested the day before he was supposed to give his sworn testimony before Congress. This guy can get a $250 million bail who's looking at a lifetime worth of time. I mean, each of those sentences, maximum punishments are 20 years maximum. And the way the federal guidelines work on fraud cases is it's based on the amount that is stolen. So you can imagine what the guidelines are going to be for $8 billion, $10 billion of defrauded assets. I mean, it's going to be obscene. I represented someone who was convicted of wire fraud, and that person had only misused trust funds in the amount of like $700,000. And that person got almost 2 years in a federal penitentiary. And to think that $8 billion to $10 billion was defrauded, and this guy gets a $250 million bond with conditions. And yet, with these little tic-tac charges, where a person might get 5 years, maybe, they can't get a bond. There's no condition that can be met to give a bond. Don't tell me that our system isn't broken. Don't tell me that our system works just fine, when there are countless, African Americans who are looking at 2 to 3 years in prison that can't get a bond on an eluding charge or on a grand larceny charge or something like that. But we can give Sam Bankman-Fried $250 million bail after defrauding the American people of billions of dollars, who was in the Bahamas, has the money to be able to go all different places, but yet there's sufficient conditions for him. He can get an ankle monitor and be fine. He doesn't have to stay incarcerated. Don't tell me there's not a problem. There's definitely a problem. And I don't want to hear any more local judges. I'm sorry, I don't. And if this gets me in trouble, that's fine. I don't want to hear any more local judges telling me there are no conditions that can satisfy, unless it's short of like murder, rape, child pornography, child molestation cases, things like that, robbery, things that have a significant like danger component to it. Don't tell me there are no conditions that bond would not secure someone's appearance against flight risk after what the federal government has now done with Sam Bankman-Fried to allow this guy who is looking at years and years and years and years of time if convicted. And of course, based on the way he's been treated so far, that's looking like a big if. But anyway, if he were to be convicted and he has the ability to go all these different places, you say, well, he's got an ankle monitor now. Yeah, but he didn't before the bond was awarded. And the ankle monitor is available for these other people too. But yet there's no conditions that can satisfy some judges on these cases involving minorities and the poor. But, hey, system's fine. There's no problem. Everything's cool. So let me know what you think. Maybe I'm just jaded because I'm a biased criminal defense attorney. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that Sam Bankman-Fried should have gotten bail? And if he is getting bail, regardless, he's gotten bail. Since he's gotten bail, does that have any impact on how you view other cases in regard to bail? Looking at the Illinois law, where basically no cash bail is going to be allowed anymore. What people were talking about, the purge or whatever, which is just a bunch of nonsense. But regardless, what do you think? Let me know in the comments, and let me know what you think about both the fact that he got bail, and then let me know what you think about the impact this should have on future cases, if any. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you found this video helpful. Also, today is Christmas Eve, so I want to wish all of my listeners and viewers a very Merry Christmas and a happy and blessed New Year. And I look forward to being able to provide you with more content over the next New Year. So thank you so much for watching, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year.